God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. First of all, I am Jehovah thy God. The word Jehovah is a beautiful word. It is a verb which means the becoming one. A word by which God expresses himself and that which in that which he desires to be to his people. God wishes to become to you whatever your need might be. The becoming one, Yahweh, a verb, to be. And so God becoming to you, I am Yahweh, thy God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now, as we said this morning, that doesn't mean that God has to, that God is first in your life and then you can have all other kind of gods as long as He's first God in your life. Before, in the sense of precedence. I've got to be the greatest God of your life and then you can have all kinds of gods under me. No. Before, that is in the presence of me. You're to worship the Lord thy God, and Him only shalt thou serve. You're not to have any other gods. He is to be the exclusive God of your life. You shall have no other gods in the presence of me, before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto the thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. So the prohibition of making graven images, and it goes actually of any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, which would include then the angelic beings, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth, whatever those creatures might look like. Thou shalt not make them, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them. Now, men, as we pointed out this morning, have always been guilty of making their own gods. Man is conscious of God. The heavens declare the glory of God, the earth showeth forth His handiwork, and there is a universal consciousness of God in every culture of man. Concepts, ideas of God exist. Now, many men have been guilty of making their own gods. And a man, when he makes his own God, usually starts out with this premise: if I were God, this is what I would be. This is what I would do. This is how I would respond. This is how I would react. And so the Greeks made their own gods. And in your Greek mythology, you have their concepts of God, which are really an expression of what they would be if they were God. Now, some fellow having been in love with a girl and another suitor won her away from him, if I were God, I could live up there and I could bring magic potions and I could use my powers and then she would be mine instead of his. And so you have your gods that are intertwining themselves in the love affairs of man and all of these kind of things, because if I were God, I would use these powers for an advantage in my relationship with men. And thus you find that is sort of a basis of your Greek mythology. Men creating their own gods. When a man makes a god, he actually makes the god like himself. A man's god is usually a projection of himself. A man is oftentimes worshiping himself.